Hello friends, welcome you all to Tech Assembler, and in this tutorial I would be covering how to pass data between components. In my previous video I just demonstrated how to create components in a parent component, that is home component, and this is the tutorial which is continue part of the previous one, and here we are going to just passing data from parent to child and getting back data from child component to parent component through event emitter. And what are these at the rate output, at the rate input, we will see in our demo. So in this tutorial, we are having two components. That one is a profile component and the other is user detail component. We have used ng for loop. That is why the user detail component has been replicated 3 times. And we have a dummy JSON. And when we click to this card, that is donut cake, we will get back the data from the child component and will pass data to this child component. So here you can see in console log that card clicked, we are inside the component and then back to parent component, and this is the data we got back in our parent component. So let's start coding and see how this action can be performed using at the rate input and at the rate output. We have two components, that is a profile component and a user detail component. Okay, so we had a code something like this. Let me close all the tabs. Okay, and just home HTML. So we have something like this. And let me delete this. Okay, so we had something like this: a profile component and a user detail component inside our home component. Okay, so now we need some dummy data to pass there, and then we'll get back that dummy data. So for that I had one file where I just define a dummy data like this, and here we have the user list in which we have a detail about user. Like we are not using all of this, we are just using birthday, date of birth, and gender, and the user name with its title, and a user image, that is user image. And I had a dummy image that I will be going to use, this one. Okay, so let's start. First of all, we need something to display in profile component, so we'll go to the profile component in HTML. Okay, this is my commented code, so I just gonna type for you. Okay, so let's erase it. We just have a item. Okay, so in item we have label, and I just this, and then we have one image tag. Image has src, that means the source of the image, and this. So the source of the image is we're going to have here, that is one more assets, and assets in images, and in images as we have user image. Okay, so just remove this. If we remove this, this becomes absolute path. Sorry, this becomes relative path. Okay, and here we're going to display our user image. So this looks a little big, so we're just gonna style it. Okay, so this is our image, and we just give it a height of maybe 80 pixels, and width of 80 pixels. We are giving the height and width same because we want to make it circular in shape. Then we make a border radius. We apply this style with 50% border radius. It automatically comes in a circular. Okay, so we just copy this and give it a name over here. We just give a name. What should we call it? Class file dash container. Okay, so profile container, and we just apply the CSS. Okay, here I have given some CSS, so I will just replace it. And okay, I just use a new one. Okay, Here is no need to give a class. We just directly use image tag as we have only one image. So what we gonna have, we have an image tag, and then we just paste the things we just, okay, it has vanished. So height 80 pixel, with 80 pixel, the radius 50%. Okay, that's it. And just save the HTML. So I will load it, let it load. Okay, this, and now this is our label. So we just contain label and a div. Okay, so this would be helpful. So here we can see a label. Okay, so now we use a dummy data in this. So using dummy data means in this directly we can use the dummy data in this component. So here I just declare a variable in dummy data. Okay, I just delete it. So this is my variable, and I just need to import my dummy data file. So and this is my file, and here I've made two variables that I am exporting. So I just need to import one of these variables. So I will import user list. And user list, I have one user. It has name and other things. Okay, so I just import this user, import statement with colon, just a dummy data, and then dummy simplify. And if I control space, then it will show me both the variables that I have exported. So here I will select the user list. Okay, now what I will do, and ng on it, I just pass, this is my local variable of this class. So I just pass my user list that I have just imported data to this, and I will console it. So console.log dummy data list. So we have console the data, the dummy data for the user like this. Okay, now we are going to bind the data. We say I will close all the things and just go to the profile component over here, and we have a variable, and we just imported the variable. Now I use this variable because we cannot directly use this imported variable as for a binding material. Okay, we need to assign it to a local variable of this component so that it can be bindable. Okay, now we have this. For binding, we use the interpolation mark, and this is the first name, and then again interpolation, and the dummy user dot last name. Okay, so this name is from this last name and the first name of the object. Okay, so this is the Liam Walters. Okay, now one more thing we'll bind, that is the title. Okay, so this title, I am not binding anything. You can see over here in an object we have title, then we have this date of birth, gender, and we'll bind the date of birth and gender also. Okay, so again I will take another div, and then span, and in that span we'll just pasting this, and gender, and in another span we'll be binding the birth date. Okay, so the birth date is in milliseconds. Okay, now we have one pipe, that is a date pipe in Angular, so you can look over here for more information. Okay, so how to use it, just space and or symbol, then just type date. Okay, it will automatically format it to a date formatter, Okay, so we have Jan 10, 1970. And for more information that how it can be used, so you can just type this short in this form, you will get, and medium in this form, and then medium date in this form. By default it is in medium date, and you can change it to the long date, that is in place of January Jan, you will find the January 10, 1970. Okay, so now one more thing that here after Mr. dot we need a period, okay, for the identification of the title and the name, and we need the name to be in capital. For example, the first letter of the name should be in capital, so that looks good. For that we have one class that is ion dash text dash capitalize. Okay, so what it would do, it would convert the text into capitalized form, so it will look like this: Mr. Williamson, blah blah blah, and many more things. Okay, and we just need a little margin below that, margin bottom. So this what I am using the classes. It is a default classes that is Ion text, and you can find in Ionic document or in an Ionic framework site. So this look good. Okay, one more thing, we can just use iron dash padding. The default, all this thing what we are using, iron padding, iron margin, it is 16 pixel default. Okay, so according to the size of the device, it changes. Now it looks good. And in other component user detail, we'll use the Ionic card. Okay, so I just go to the Ionic card, that is Ionic framework / doc, and here find the card, and I will use this default card template in our user detail component. So I just replace all the code with this, and now it will look like somewhat this. Okay, I just already did some CSS, so I just removed the CSS. Without CSS it would look like this. Good. So you can see we have different types of card like this. It is iOS device, that's why it is showing like this, and when we switch to Android, it just convert the things to the Android perspective, so it takes time. Yeah, like this, because in Android it uses the Angular material, so it is the Angular material card, but we want somewhat like iOS device card. So just switch and run over here, so you can see that it is now the iOS card, but I want in Android it must look like iOS card. So we have one property, just go to property section, and here we have a mode. You can just copy it and paste it over here, card mode equals to, just type iOS. Okay, so for it converts the card to iOS format in Android also, so it looks like this. It looks good. Okay, now we need to change the color, so we have color properties like this. So I just directly apply these color property to the Android card. So we use dash because under the hood of Ionic, it's a variable. Okay, we are just giving a name to means we are just giving a color to a variable, and under the hood it is replacing to the background color of the Ion card. If we give like this, so it will not affect. Okay, so it will not change the variable. So for that we need to specify this double dash. So somewhat it's a syntax of Ionic, and it looks like this. Now I will change some more things, like the title, color, and all the things. Okay, so for that I just type over here color is light. Okay, this is the default color. For this we have some default colors property over here. You can also see, yeah, your primary, secondary, warning, and many more. So it turns to a white, and I want to convert it to a button, Ionic card, because on a click we need to perform some function that will take the data back to parent component. and for that we'll type over here button, so it behaves like a button. Okay, after this, so you can see the bubble effect over here. Okay, one more thing, if you want to disable the card, so you can just use the property disabled. Okay, by default it is false, but you can make it true. So card would look like this. So it is disabled, you cannot see it, means it automatically specifies that it is disabled, so we just remove it, we don't need that. Okay. Mm, Now all things are set. We just need to pass the data from the home module to our component. Okay, so for this I just import the sample data. Okay, we have sample data, another data in our dummy JSON. Okay, so we have this user detail we have just imported and sample data this. Okay, so I will just import it to my home page and I can assign a variable. Okay, save it to a sample data. Oh, so it's of type any. Okay, basically it's a type of array, but doesn't matter for now. Equals to sample data. Okay, so this is the sample data, and I just console it so that it must be a little clear how it looks. So it looks like this. This is the sample data, and we need to pass the each and everything to our component, so it will repeat 3 times. Okay, so I just copy the sample data and just apply a for loop over this component, because we need the component to repeat that how many times of this data is, so it will repeat that much time. Okay, and we'll pass this item to our component, so carefully see. Okay, from parent, this is a variable name that would be we are catching. Okay, now we are passing the item. Okay, so the every item is being passed inside this variable, and we'll catch it in a user detail component. For catching, we need one decorator, that is input. Okay, so we just need to specify what we are catching. Okay, and a name of the variable in which we are catching, and it's a type of any. Okay, so in Ionic, I just console it so that it can be clearly seen that we just got the data inside. Okay, inside component, what is and this data from parent. Okay, so we have something. Okay, now yeah, you can see this is repeating 3 times because we have of data 3 times, and here you can also see inside the component it is 3 times. Okay, now we need to bind this data. For that we just use this variable what we just declare over here, and in HTML I just replace it with this data dot type, and then also dot name. Okay, so it will change the type and the name. Okay, you can see the donut cake, bread cake, egg cake based on this. Okay, so now I just put a function so that it take the data. So just on click function. Okay, just I specify this function, and in this on click method there will be passing the name of the. Okay, we're just passing. So for that we just remove the curly braces. Only we need to pass the type, because we just need to pass the which type of cake it is, donut cake or whatever may be. So cake type, it is of type string, and we just console.log. Okay, cake type, and you just see over a click that it is. I just clear the things. Okay, donut, bread, donut. Okay, fine. It is working fine. I just want it to be back to a parent. So we now say we want to send data back to a parent. So we use the output like this. This is the output decorator, and what we want to send the item. Okay, item from port. Okay, this is the name of our variable. So whenever we find this cake type, we just emit. Okay, emit this emit, and here we pass the cake type. Okay, so whenever we on click on a button, we just need to emit the things to our parent. Okay, so this emit from component needs to bind over here like this function type. Okay, and then we need to specify a function on this. So from component we have O capital and function, and in function we pass the event. Okay, so this is, we just format it, and in we go to a TS file and just make a new function, and here we have event of type string because we are passing the string from that, and console dot log, and we will just type something that is inside parent module. Okay, and now event. Okay, so whenever we click on a particular thing, it will just emit back to a parent like this. Yeah, and bread, we just click a bread over there, and we are back inside parent module, and the name of the event is what we just passed from the component to parent module. This you can see also over here. We have, when we were in user detail, we just click over bread, and now we are in home.page.ts file. So in this way you can change. And one more thing, that you can change the color of the bar and the button also. Okay, so I will show you something. This, uh, as I said before, we just need to pass this variable to a toolbar and the color, and apply this class to your button class. Okay, so when I just do this, okay, perfect, it will look like this. Okay. Just remove the console once it is done, and you can see everything is going fine. Now you can perform anything. So second button, we have a second page, but we haven't done something yet. Okay, so this is how. And if you want the code, so please find the link below of a GitHub repository, and there you will find all the codes. And please, if you like the video, please hit the subscribe button and share the video. Thank you.